Sul, hello, and Labus. Welcome to another episode of the Payne Family Ultimate Decades Challenge. The year is 1382, it's day 3, and we're here starting with the Jacobsons because Katerina is in fact in labor currently. She's just kind of, I don't know, hanging out over here. She's had one baby before. It was while Kennard was away at the war camp. She doesn't seem that fussed or that concerned. She's just hanging out down there. I guess she does have 2 hours. Do you want to come so that you can bear witness? When I loaded in, Helena wanted to flirt with Beatrix. Beatrix, who is married to Vampire Boy, the Vampire Boy Wesley Martin, who's for some reason in this picture wearing a snorkel. Listen, I don't know. I don't know what to say about some of this stuff. But Katerina, good luck to you. I'm rooting for you. I'm hoping that this goes well. You and Kennard have been married now for 4 years with no child to show for it. He was away at war for a long time. He was. Wow. What a moment to freeze on. It's a boy! Heck yeah! Now what about a name? Man, I don't know. I don't know what to name this child. For now, I'm going to name him Edwin II because they seem to name their children after their grandfathers. But you guys let me know if you have a different name suggestion. Kennard's feeling really good about this. He's like, oh my gosh. For Katerina to survive this birth, she cannot roll the numbers 1 or 11. That's it. So she's fine. And for the baby to survive, he cannot roll the numbers 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. Oh my gosh, and the baby lives. Whoa, I didn't see that coming. Okie dokie. So we have a new baby at the Jacobson home. It has been a long time. We have not had a new living baby since Helena and Richard were born here. So it really has been a long time. He's just down there talking to his son, having deep conversations. That's cute. Whenever you're ready, Katerina, you can go ahead and put the baby down and use the bathroom. Helena, why don't you go use the bathroom and take care of your skin as well? So another thing that's kind of interesting while we're here, we aren't going to stay here for very long just because the main thing here was that the baby was born and it was a success, which is a great news. But a few times people have mentioned that the issues that Theo and Kennard had came down to the fact that, like, Theo had a sense that Kennard had done something. He didn't know what maybe, but he knew that Kennard had been involved with something nefarious. And that because of that, that was why they ended up having sort of a problem, which makes sense. And it also makes it a little bit even more suspicious then that Theo ended up passing away at that war campaign. when Kenner did come back, particularly because it was actually while they were away there, it was the time for his spirit to rise. So he did have to roll to see if the spirit rose, and it didn't this time. Um, but I mean, that doesn't mean that something else didn't contribute, you know? But on that note, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and leave the Jacobsons here. I know it was like a super quick flyby. It was really just to show that they're back, be there with the baby being born, the first successful baby born that they've had, and sort of like check in with the twins. But there is a family that's recently married that we're going to go drop by for the last part of today and talk about sort of what's new with them. So I will see you in a moment when we get there. All right, so here we are at a new house, a house we haven't been to before. It is on the outskirts of sort of London, kind of between London and the countryside. It's not that far from where the Woodhanses live, actually. Man, is it a crazy snowstorm or what? Like, geez, look at that sun up there. And this is where Harold Payne is living with his soulmate and his wife, Valdis Blackwood, well, formerly Blackwood. Now, it is complicated between them. Well, I guess first things first, let's take a look around their house. So this is their main sitting area and dining room. It's pretty planty. They've got their oven there. Their kitchen is quite small. It's just a couple of counters and the larder. And then they have got an upstairs bathroom with a bathtub, a shower, and a toilet, of course. And then most of their home is actually downstairs. Harold, feel free to do anything. Most of their home is downstairs. They've got their bed, they've got a bunk for a child, a toddler bed, a bassinet, and an infant's crib. That's actually in a separate room so that nobody gets woken up. And then they've got sort of like a bathtub and toilet, and then a toilet and a shower on that side, as well as like a magical room for Valdis so that she can get good at magic if she so chooses. Magic isn't really her primary thing. Her main thing is actually apothecary. She likes doing apothecary work. She is an apothecarist. Apothecaries were like pretty important in medieval times. Both them and herbalists were kind of similar. They served a similar purpose. But herbalists were usually taken on by monks and they charged like small donations for their services, whereas apothecaries would charge people whatever they liked. They were highly regarded by the common people. They had their own guilds, they had their own gardens. They had a couple of different types of cures that they would offer. Some were called simples, and those were cures with only one ingredient. Some were called compounds, which were cures with more than one ingredient, which makes sense. And some apothecaries also sold spices, which were incredibly expensive in the Middle Ages. Apothecarists and herbalists would both spend years studying their craft. And they basically served a very important function because most people didn't have medical care. And so it really came down to apothecarists and herbalists to help people when they needed help, aside from barber surgeons. But barber surgeons, of course, cut, whereas these guys tried to give herbal remedies and stuff. So Harold and Valdis, they met and they fell in love, which is good, but while they do have good compatibility with each other, Harold actually doesn't find her attractive, but they are soulmates and they're spouses and they have a steamy dynamic. Whereas Valdis does find him extremely attractive. She's also attracted to Esmond, but here we have it. Valdis, I think that you're the one who has good cooking. So Valdis has good apothecary and general cooking and foraging skills, which is handy for us. Do you mind making, maybe we will have, oh yeah, cream of chicken soup. Heck yeah, dude. And then Harold is really, really good at gardening. He's good at archery. Wow, he's really good at archery. He's good at bugs. He's good at fishing, foraging, and gardening. Those are the things that's why Edmund took him with him to sort of like help get his estate settled, is because he's good at all of those things. Oh my goodness. Happy chopping there, lady. Harold and Valdis are related quite distantly. They are, according to my calculations, second cousins once removed because Harold's great great grandfather is Valdis's great grandfather. And so, according to the rules of this time, they would not be allowed to marry, but they actually don't know that they're related because Valdis was born in Spain, if you remember, to Heath Greystoke, but she had her mother's surname. She didn't have the Greystoke surname. And so there would be no reason why they would even know that they're related because Harold's father, Kenric, if you remember, he passed away pretty young and he lived much of his life away from the main Paynes. So he wouldn't have been sort of told about the Greystrokes. I don't see how or why he would have. And so they don't actually know that they have a very distant ancestor who's related, and that's fine. Because for one, this is just a game, and for two, if we have to wait for Sims to be like as distant as like the rules of the time say, we're definitely going to be losing some of them. Like Harold, I almost just put into the background, even though I think he's such a cutie because I was just like, oh, like I don't know what's going on with you. But now that he's with Valdis and they're together, like I'm pretty happy to occasionally follow them. Although I don't think that we'll really follow them that closely. I think that mostly they'll just be in the background. Harold really would love to spend some time together, but I think that she's busy. She's busy apothecarying, and he's just like, I love you. Harold is a love bug, so he is very much about that life. But so much happens in Lithuania that I thought it might be a good call to just go ahead and finish up talking about the history of Lithuania while we're here and sort of get to the end of 1382 Lithuanian history. So basically, in 1382, a new grandmaster was named. It was a guy named Conrad Zollner of Rothenstein, but he wasn't exactly like ready. He had very little experience in diplomacy or warfare. But the problem at the time was that most other eligible options for the knights who were high up enough in the order, they were too old at this point to be military leaders or to hold this position. And Conrad did not have a smooth transition. He wanted to make sure that things went well, but he didn't appear to do it in like kind of the right way. He demanded that he get to meet Jogaila personally to try and get a handle on things. But King Louis of Hungary had just died, and one of his sons-in-laws wanted to succeed him as King of Poland, which was causing a lot of tension in the area. And Grandmaster Conrad was like not his priority. You know what I mean? However, when Conrad did meet with Jogaila, Jogaila agreed to surrender Samogitian west of the Dubisa River. This was not a big sacrifice for him. Like I mentioned last time, most of the Samogitians in that area were loyal to Kęstutis and Kęstutis' son Vytautas. And so even though it was part of Jogaila's territory, he didn't much mind. And even though the order were technically gifted it, they still had to conquer the area because the people of that area were not really willing to be taken over. In terms of Vytautas, which is where the story kind of shifts now that Kęstutis has passed away, Vytautas had, like we remember, he trusted his cousin Jogaila. He believed that Jogaila was working with them. He didn't think Jogaila was against them, up to the point of his father being captured and, in fact, not making it out of that prison cell. And he even was also taken captive by his cousin Jogaila. Again, the guy that he trusted and loved. Are you reading? Oh my goodness. Harold is over here reading. He's like, oh, I want to read too. Oh, don't. Okay, fine. She's cooking mac and cheese. I can't believe that Harold is elected to read a magical tomb. I've never seen a normal sim like do that before. It's kind of funny. However, Vytautas, once all of this happened and his father died, he realized that the situation was not what he had thought it had been, and he took a page out of his father's book and escaped. He did something similar to what his father had done, like kind of a tricky escape, in that his wife, Anne, had asked Jogaila to please let her see her husband to make sure that he was still alive, and Jogaila had agreed. So when Anne came to visit, Vytautas, who was beard-free at the time, switched clothes with her, and she waited in the cell pretending to be him while he made his escape out of Lithuania to Masovia, where her brother was. It's so crazy to me that he like took her clothes and she just like sat there waiting. But for the upside of everything, Yogila did let her go after that. And so it wasn't like she ended up being put in any kind of dangerous position. She was let go and she went home to her brother as well. And so it ended up working out totally fine in the end. But it is kind of funny that that was their like big escape plan, was that, they switched clothes and she patiently waited, pretending to be him while he made a daring escape out of the country and to safety. Of course, by that point, Vitautas, as you might imagine, no longer trusted his cousin, and he was pretty angry about what Yogila had done. So he wrote to Grandmaster Conrad saying that he was willing to become Christian, but he needed to speak with him personally. Conrad wanted to be able to work with Vitautas, especially as well because Yogila was pretty well known for not always keeping his word when he was supposed to, if you know what I mean. So Conrad at this point played both sides. He followed his agreement with Yogila technically, but he also sent Vitautas to become governor in Samogitian. He equipped him with weapons, with clothing, and with horses. In his mind, he thought, oh, if Yogila stays friendly, then there's no harm done by making Vitautas governor to the land that is loyal to him and his father. But if Yogila turned on them, they could support Vitautas in trying to overthrow Yogila. So, of course, this meant that the cousins were now practically enemies for this moment in time, right at each other's doorsteps. They were going to have to figure out how they could live so close to each other and get through it. But on that note, that's where we're going to leave both the Lithuanian history for now and Harold and Valdis. They live a pretty quiet life. They're pretty happy out here. They've got like a nice couple of plants and a little nice home, and they're doing pretty okay. I thought that you guys might want to see, because we probably won't see them even when they have their children. We'll just find out in the background. But this way you can see where they're set up and know that that's their life. And we will meet up again in the morning at the next household. All right, so here we are at a brand new house. This is the Amboise estate in France. Oops, oh no, I missed making his cake. It was Antoine and Beatrix's birthday yesterday, but I didn't make it in time. So he's adventurous, he's generous, and active. Okie dokie. And Beatrix is now a horse lover, skeptical, and a bro. I'm pretty sure that horse lover is the new one for her, which is kind of nice because he like saved her by riding her off on a horse. It's very cute to think that like that's why she's a horse lover now. Henri lives here with them. He lives with them. This is their family estate, and they are like they all live here together, and they have a little servant named Claudine. Claudine lives here. She likes Beatrix pretty well. And Claudine Fontaine, she cleans for them, she cooks for them, and she takes care of everything. We'll take a quick look around. Oh my goodness. So I was going to set them up to do some stuff, and Beatrix just asked him to woohoo again, even though they just woohooed. But while they're busy doing that, we'll take a quick look around. So this is it from the outside. I do have the build recorded. It took a really long time. I want to say, like, oh my gosh, in the tent again? Okay. Actually, Claudine, since you have done this, do you mind adding some birthday candles? And then will you please make some more food? So I found a picture online of this from a French medieval, I can't remember if I looked for estate or manor, and it looked kind of like this. Of course, this is a simplified version, but when you come in, there's sort of like an archery area and like some swings over there. There's a well, a little tent for people to come and stay, and a thing to observe the stars should you so choose. Over here, this is one of the buildings, and this is where the kitchen is. It's pretty cramped quarters. It's the servants' area for them to work in and to eat in. They don't get to eat with the main family, as we know. Over here, this is actually where Henri is staying. Henri will stay with them for a while until they start like having kids who need to use the room, and then this will no longer, like, he'll move on. You know, once it's time. Over here is the main house. This design was completely inspired by that picture that I saw, and that broom is supposed to be in Claudine's inventory. My bad. But over here, this is sort of the entrance. Sure, you can like fitness, that's fine. Over here, this is the living area, the living room. It's a sitting room. It's got the classic medieval snail, and it's got some skill stuff like painting, logic, music for the upper class Sims. Then over here is a little toilet chamber. Oops, I went the wrong way. On the other side is the formal dining area. It's nothing crazy. It's just got a table with some chairs and a bar, of course, because why wouldn't we have a bar? Upstairs, there is just sort of the stairway, which I had to move the stairs, so I've just realized that there's a missing rail, and kind of like a little reading nook up here. And then off to the side, this room is pretty bare. It's for an infant. I didn't feel like they'd want that much in here. There's a couple of toys, and that's it. Over here is for when the child is a toddler. So cute. And then, of course, a bathroom, because I'm not a lunatic. We need bathrooms. Off in the other direction, this is Antoine and Beatrix's bedchamber. It's quite pretty. Some of these details came from Lily's Palace. It's a set that I hadn't had before. They've got a cradle for a baby whenever it arrives. And then they've got a really nice little toilet area, shower, a bathtub, and everything. So it's pretty nice, pretty handy dandy. So when I loaded in, Henri had done something I think kind of surprising, or at least it surprised me, which is that he had actually, in the limited amount of time he was in the background, ignore that, he and Beatrix just tried to woohoo for some reason. He had married this guy, Todd Attenbury, who, you know, came with the natural pack or whatever it's called. And so they're actually married in in-game mechanics, which is crazy, even though he finds him unattractive. But I felt like they can have their relationship. That's totally fine. But I just don't really want him in the household with us. So maybe when they like move off together, they'll just go off and, oh my gosh, I think Beatrix is pregnant. They'll just go off and he can live with his lover Todd. Do you mind inviting over Edmund? And you don't know Alvar? Oh, sad. Well, you will after today. Will you go ahead and invite over Alvar, please? Thank you. They're going to have a little family get-together, have Edmund and Alvar over, and have dinner together. So Beatrix is happy that she is now married. Go ahead and sit down. Henri, you go ahead and sit down too. Beatrix is happy that she's married. The wedding went really well, as you saw at the beginning. It was really, really cute. Everything was great. But the main family have headed back to England now, so they'll be back home by the start of the next episode. Beatrix, I said, sit down, please. Or don't sit down. That's fine, I guess. I'm sorry, you've got to get some medicine. I'm pretty sure that Beatrix is finally pregnant. She has been woohooing all her teenage life. Like, she's really been going for it. So I'm shocked it took this long. Go ahead. Actually, do you mind lighting this and also lighting this for us? And lighting this one, and then also lighting, can this one light? Yeah, do you mind, Henri? It's just that then they're lit and we don't have to worry about it again. Thank you. We're gonna have to rush ahead the whole idea of Edmund and Alvar doing their magical baby. That was kind of my idea in the background. But now that he's failed his role and he's marked for death, we're gonna have to, you know, hurry it along. A lot of people, for ever since I started the challenge, have been trying to help me figure out how to make it so the outfits are actually set and they actually like stay the same. And you can have them like load. Oh, that's cute. You can have them load so that when Sims age up, they automatically wear their outfits. And people have explained this to me and given me like step-by-step instructions so many times. But I've never really understood it. I just like never really got it. For some reason, I just could not figure it out. Everything I tried, it always went wrong. But the other day, it just suddenly clicked in my mind, and all of a sudden, I understand completely. And now the outfits are actually set, and they're working when Sims age up. And before I thought it had worked, but I mean, it is actually working. It happened to him and to Beatrix when they aged up without me aging up for them. So I feel like I feel like finally, after all of the help that you guys have given, oh, that's cute. After all of the help that everybody has given me, trying to help me figure out, what it is that I'm supposed to do. Yes, Todd, I'd love to, but not right now. We will live with you soon. Once the first baby has come, we will live with you, okay? But finally, after all of the help that everyone's given me, after all of the support and all of the ideas about how to fix it, it finally is working. So thank you all so much for your help because out of nowhere, it just suddenly kind of clicked in my head. And I feel really happy that it suddenly makes a lot of sense. Oh, I forgot to say before. So Claudine's little quarters, the servants' quarters, are just up here. It's not much. It's got a chamber pot, it's got someplace to wash up, a shower, and a bed, and that's it. I think in the future, when their kids are older, some of the kids will live out here if their kids survive. But for now, that's how it is. It's so nice to see Edmund. I saw Edmund and Alvar just playing chess over there earlier, and it's nice that these guys at least are together, even if they won't be with their families as much. But I do think it's 12:30, so it's officially the start of 1383. So we'll go ahead and pull this episode to a close here. In the background, the things that happened are that for James Greystrokes' teensy weensy little struggling family now, his newest child, Lana, became an infant successfully. There were a handful of Sims who became young adults today, or this half year. Adam III Fitzroy, Harold Payne, Beatrix, of course, and her husband, Antoine, all became young adults successfully, so that was really good. Walter the Careful's wife, Evelyn Hagen, who is Raoul's mother, did go into labor, and both she and the baby were totally fine, which means that there is now going to be a pretty big problem for Raoul that you guys have to let me know how we're going to deal with because when Evelyn won the lottery, it was supposed to mean that like that had given them that opportunity, and now all that's in jeopardy. So let me know your thoughts and ideas. So all in all, it was a really good half year. There was not a single sum lost, no bad rolls. I hope that you've enjoyed this part. As always, let me know your thoughts and ideas in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.